The Marrow House. When Amelia Rourke got the letter, the sky looked like a big old bruise. She had been alone for months, lost in sadness after her mother died. The kind of sadness that makes every sound feel far away and every color fade. The letter came in a light blue envelope with no return address and a single line of fancy handwriting. To Miss Amelia Rourke, Inheritance Inquiry. Inside was something like an invitation, a legal document. Apparently she was the only person to inherit a property she had never heard of. Marrow House, hidden in a forest near the village of Doorshire, England. The name felt strangely familiar. Her mother never talked about other family, and Amelia had no siblings. The lawyer in charge, a man named Elias Graves, asked her to visit the estate in person to sign the final papers. There was something urgent in his words that made her uneasy. Curiosity, or maybe a need to feel something, pulled her out of her sadness. A week later, she was on a flight, then a train, and finally in a car driving through a tunnel of twisted trees until the forest swallowed everything around her. Marrow House sat like a dead thing on the hill, its wooden and stone walls bent with age. It looked like something out of a scary dream. The trees nearby leaned toward it, like they were listening. A cold wind blew through the branches and seemed to whisper her name. Elias Graves was waiting at the gate. He was thin, with dark eyes that didn't blink much, and a voice smooth like water over rocks. He wore a black suit that looked very old. "Miss Rourke," he said with a small bow, "welcome home." Inside, the house smelled like rot and old secrets. The wallpaper was peeling, dust covered everything, yet the fireplace in the big room was burning with warm flames. Her mother's painting hung above the fireplace, though Amelia had never seen it before. The eyes in the painting looked wrong, too wide, too knowing. "How did you know my mother?" Amelia asked. Elias smiled but didn't answer. Instead, he handed her a ring of old iron keys and a worn leather journal. The journal belonged to her grandmother, Margaret Rourke, who had gone missing when Amelia's mother was just a child. Page after page talked about strange rituals, nightmares, and warnings about the house. One line was repeated many times, the handwriting getting more and more messy. "The house remembers. The house feeds. The marrow must return." Amelia let out a nervous laugh, telling herself her grandmother was just sick in the head. But that night, the house started breathing. She heard it. Deep, slow breaths coming from the walls. The whispers grew louder, just out of reach. In her dreams, she saw her mother standing in the basement, her eyes leaking shadows. Downstairs, her mother's portrait had changed. It now showed her smiling with a wide, toothless grin. That night, Amelia followed the whispers into the basement, and deeper still, into tunnels carved from the rock itself. She walked for what felt like hours, through twists and turns that made no sense. The walls were marked with symbols scratched into bones. She found pieces of people, ribbons, teeth, a broken music box that still played a creepy tune. Something was chasing her, but never touched her. Not yet. At the end of the tunnel was a room that moved like it was alive. In the center was a throne made of bones and hair. Sitting on it was her grandmother, perfectly still, her eyes open and leaking black tears. "It needs you," Margaret said with a dry, cracking voice. "The house, the blood, the marrow. It's not a home, it's a hunger." Amelia tried to run. The tunnels twisted, time didn't make sense. Days passed, or maybe weeks. When she finally came out, the house had changed. It looked newer. The trees were full of flowers. The villagers she met had never heard of Marrow House. She had gone back in time. And the house was getting ready. Inside, Elias greeted her again, looking exactly the same. This time, he called her Margaret. Amelia screamed, but he only smiled. "You've always been here. The family line is a loop. You are your own grandmother. The house keeps the Marrow safe, through time, through blood." Her memories started to fall apart. She saw flashes of other lives, feeding the house, giving birth to daughters, leaving them behind, always coming back, always feeding. The last page in the journal was written in her own handwriting. "To whoever reads this, I tried to stop the cycle, but the house already knows who you are. If you're reading this, it's already too late. Close the journal, burn the house, run. But you won't. It's already inside you." As Amelia sat in the big room, staring at the fire, the painting above the fireplace changed again. It now showed her face, mouth open in a silent scream. She smiled, and deep below the house, something alive beat, stronger than ever.